Are you tired of watching your favorite team make the same mistakes year after year? Clinging to players who clearly don't fit the puzzle anymore? Well, if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, you might be about to witness exactly that kind of frustrating decision-making in action. The Leafs are reportedly shopping veteran forward David Kampf, and honestly, it's about time someone in that organization started making some tough calls. Let's be brutally honest here. The Maple Leafs are entering the 2025-26 season as a completely different team, and not necessarily in a good way. After yet another soul-crushing playoff disappointment, Toronto made the shocking decision to trade away their 102-point superstar Mitch Marner to the Vegas Golden Knights. That's right, folks. They let a player who just had one of the best seasons of his career walk away for what many are calling a package deal that doesn't even come close to matching his value. Now, I'm not saying trading Marner was necessarily the wrong move. Sometimes you need to shake things up when the same core keeps failing in the playoffs. But what really gets under my skin is how the Leafs handle the aftermath. Instead of getting a legitimate star player in return, they picked up Nicholas Roy from Vegas, along with Matthias Maxelli from Utah and Dakota Joshua from Vancouver. Don't get me wrong, these are solid NHL players, but we're talking about replacing a 102-point player here. The math simply doesn't add up, and now Toronto finds itself in a bizarre position where they have too many bottom six forwards and not enough star power. It's like trading in your Ferrari for 3 Honda Civics. Sure, you've got more cars, but good luck winning any races. This brings us to the heart of today's story, David Kampf. The 29-year-old Czech forward has become the poster child for Toronto's current roster management problems. With a $2.4 million cap hit running through the 2026-27 season, Kampf represents exactly the kind of contract that sounds reasonable on paper, but becomes a headache when you're trying to build a championship roster. Here's where it gets really interesting, and by interesting, I mean infuriating for Leafs fans. David Pagnotta from the Fourth Period recently reported that Toronto is actively shopping both Kampf and Kaje Jarnkrok. Think about that for a second. The team that just traded away their best playmaker is now trying to dump even more forwards because they mismanaged their salary cap so badly. Kampf isn't a bad player. He's actually quite solid defensively and won 51.2% of his faceoffs last season. In 7 of his 8 NHL seasons, he's been above 50% at the dot, which is genuinely valuable. But here's the kicker. His role in Toronto's lineup isn't even guaranteed anymore. They've got so many forwards that a $2.4 million player might not even have a secure spot in the lineup. That's organizational dysfunction at its finest. Now, here's where things get interesting from a pure hockey perspective. The Anaheim Ducks could be the perfect landing spot for Kampf, and it's not just because they have over $20 million in cap space to work with, though that certainly doesn't hurt. The Ducks are in a completely different phase of their rebuild compared to Toronto. They're not desperately trying to win a Stanley Cup with an aging core. They're building something sustainable for the long term. In that context, a player like Kampf makes perfect sense. He'd slide right into their bottom six, provide veteran leadership, and give them a reliable defensive presence on the penalty kill. The proposed trade is beautifully simple in its mediocrity. Kampf to Anaheim for a 2026 sixth-round pick. It's the kind of deal that perfectly encapsulates where both teams are right now. Toronto gets minimal return, but clears cap space, while Anaheim takes on a useful player without giving up anything meaningful. But let's zoom out for a moment and talk about what this trade really represents. This isn't just about David Kampf. It's about a franchise that continues to make short-sighted decisions and then scramble to fix the problems they created. The Maple Leafs have been stuck in this cycle for years now. They mortgage their future for aging veterans. Those veterans don't deliver in the playoffs. So they panic and make more trades to fix the problems they created. Meanwhile, teams like Anaheim are quietly building sustainable success by making smart, low-risk moves and developing their prospects properly. What's most frustrating is that Kampf could actually be a valuable player in the right system. His defensive awareness and face-off skills are legitimate NHL assets. But in Toronto's pressure cooker environment, where every move is scrutinized and every player needs to be either a star or a scapegoat, there's no room for solid, reliable contributors like Kampf. If this deal goes through, and honestly it probably should, it would represent both teams getting exactly what they need right now. Toronto would free up $2.4 million in cap space, which they desperately need to sign their remaining restricted free agents and potentially make another move before the season starts. For Anaheim, it's a classic low-risk, potential reward situation. They're not giving up anything significant, and they're getting a player who could genuinely help their penalty kill and provide some veteran stability in their bottom six. If Kampf thrives in a reduced-pressure environment, the Ducks look smart. If he doesn't pan out, they've only wasted a late-round pick. The real winners in this scenario might be the fans who get to stop watching their teams force square pegs into round holes. Sometimes the best trades are the ones that simply put players in situations where they can succeed. This potential Kampf trade perfectly encapsulates everything that's both right and wrong with modern NHL roster management. On one hand, you have Toronto desperately trying to fix problems they created through poor planning. On the other hand, you have Anaheim making smart, patient moves that could pay dividends down the road. As we watch the situation unfold, remember that hockey is ultimately a game of chess, not checkers. The teams that think 3 moves ahead, like Anaheim appears to be doing, usually end up in better positions than the ones that are constantly reacting to their own mistakes. What do you think about this potential trade? Are the Maple Leafs making another mistake? Or is this exactly the kind of move they need to make to create salary cap flexibility? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown of Toronto's latest roster drama.